Hello everyone, my name's Steve Markham and I'm a quality engineer. I run my own consultant company, which means I get to work with a lot of different clients, primarily in the automotive industry. So that lets me work with people who make things like car seats or the carpets inside, maybe even the engines, the bodywork and the wheels and tyres. In fact, any part of the vehicle I could be involved in. And what we do as engineers all day is solve problems. Problems like, how do we get more power out of this car? How do we increase the economy of this car? And how do we now change from petrol and diesel cars into alternative fuels like battery and even hydrogen power? So my career as an engineer started way back at school when I was really interested in tinkering with things. At home, much to the annoyance of my parents, so I really enjoyed dismantling things to figure out how they worked. And unfortunately, I wasn't so good at putting them all back together again. So that was a fun time. But really, that was me exploring the world of how things worked. And because I was curious, particularly in mechanical engineering, and my dad was a huge inspiration to me as he was also an engineer. He made press tools, and these are tools, enormous tools that actually press out sheets of metal into a shape or a form that you might recognise. I remember one of the things that he was working on was a press tool that actually made the shape of a wheelbarrow. And that's fantastic, taking a huge piece of steel, putting it into a tool, and out comes the shape of a wheelbarrow. And this is what press tools do. So Dad was a great inspiration into my background. So when I was at school, the sort of subjects that I took, was very keen. Engineering was naturally a subject that we took. These days, you probably have something called design and technology. So I did engineering and technical drawing, where nowadays drawing is all done on computer. So I did I did engineering, technical drawing, maths and English we certainly had to take. And also a good subject was physics. Nowadays, I'm not sure if it's all blended into one as a science, but physics was certainly my choice. And these days, the subjects I'm using pretty much every day are maths, physics, and my technical drawing and engineering. So those things that really haven't changed. What we also have to do as engineers is communicate. So a good command of English is really useful, as we're often writing technical reports and we have to be quite precise and exact to try and explain to other people the findings of perhaps a test that we've done. So the way I got into engineering was through an apprenticeship. I was very fortunate that in the West Midlands, where I lived and grew up, we had a number of companies way back when I was just 16 years old, who were actively recruiting for apprentices. So I had to undergo an interview after I completed quite an in-depth application form that asked about my background, my interests and hobbies. Then I underwent a series of interviews and even some aptitude tests, really for them to understand what was my technical ability like as a 16-year-old. And how interested was I in being an apprentice? And I really was interested. I must have been successful, as obviously the company I was really keen to join took me on as an apprentice. So my apprenticeship lasted for 5 whole years, and that was the first whole year was spent full-time at college, learning some of the basics about engineering and making some tools that I still have to this day. The next 4 years were spent at the employer, working with lots and lots of different people in different areas of the factory, so that I got a good knowledge and understanding of not just mechanical engineering, in other words, the way things actually work, but production engineering, which is how things are actually made, design departments, as where the ideas come from and how they're designed. And we went right through to packaging and sales and marketing. So my apprenticeship was very broad and covered a whole range of subjects. So I was very fortunate at the end of my apprenticeship, on my 21st birthday. That was the day my engineering apprenticeship stopped, and it was the day I got my first position as an engineer. So my career has been very good to me. I've now spent a lot of years, I'm not going to tell you how many, but quite a few years now as an engineer. and I've loved every moment of it. I'm primarily in the automotive industry, although I do work in other industries. So some of my moments, my proud moments, are actually seeing some cars hit the road where we've had a part in ensuring the quality of that product. In other words, we've made sure that we've used the right materials, we've designed them to function correctly, the cars are safe and comfortable and reliable. And this is what people buy cars for. Everyone buys them for a different reason, but cars are thousands and thousands of pounds brand new. And people don't want to spend that sort of money on something that keeps breaking down, it's not very comfortable, it's unsafe, or it's even uneconomic. So we're quite carefully making sure that we build the quality that people want to buy. So we've had some really, really good times in engineering. I do wish you all the very, very best in your career. Think about engineering as a career. There's lots and lots of ways in. I took an apprenticeship. There are other ways in which you can contact employers direct and start learning straight away. Maybe doing a low-level job, but working hard and moving upwards through that company and having a company look after you, because they're spending money on you, they're investing in you, they're training you, and the last thing they want you to do is leave, because you're a really, really valuable part of that company. Now, I'm quite fortunate now that I run my own company, so I have been an employee for many, many years. Now I'm an employer, and I have been for the last 14 years. I can't see myself doing anything any differently. I enjoy my career. I love being an engineer. It's been very, very good to me. And I hope to do this for as long as my mind and my body lets me do it. So good luck to you all, and every success in your future. Bye-bye now.